third presentation to my DMAIC project for food quality management tools for food production. This is going to go over the analyze phase and also the improvement phase. Part 1. So for those who haven't been watching, the goal and project topic for this semester for myself is I want to decrease my soda consumption and increase my water consumption. I'm doing this to increase my physical health and improve my financial health, because buying a lot of soda is definitely taking a toll on my budget. And hopefully by December 1st, I plan to be drinking a maximum of 12 ounces of soda a day and a minimum of 40 ounces of water a day. So the last presentation was on the measurement phase, where I collected quantitative data and I got a better understanding of the current process of my project. And now we're into the analyze phase and the improvement phase. In the analyze phase, I will use statistical tools to examine the data I collected from the measurement phase, as well as find quantitative differences in that data. I will then, in the improvement phase, find out why or things I can improve to help me reach my goal, implement those changes, and collect new data. So at the very beginning of this presentation, I said this was part 1. I just want to clarify that I made a big mistake in my project. Right after the measurement phase, I found out that I did the measurement phase wrong, and I did not get around to finding out what I did wrong else after some traveling and after the holiday. So I have a couple, 2-3 weeks of not collecting data and not realizing what I did wrong, and I didn't start the actual improvement phase until November 2nd. So I have only about a little more than a week's data in this presentation going over my statistical tools. I plan to continue collecting my improvement data, and when it's time to present at the control or turn in our final project, I will have at least 3 weeks of improvement data to further back up my statistical tools. But so far, going over the analyze phase and analyze my root cause, I chose to use a fishbone diagram to get out all the issues and problems that could occur within my process. Now, this fishbone diagram looks a little messy, and it kind of represents my brain. It's all jumbled, mumbled, but it's all out there, all on paper. I used a second tool to help narrow down my root cause. I used 5 whys. Usually it's about 5 questions trying to narrow it down to get to a solution. And you're going to ask questions to leave nothing unturned. I started by asking, why don't I drink enough water? I said, I lean to choose soda pop, sugar drinks, and teas before I choose water. Why do I choose these drinks over water? Well, water doesn't have enough flavor or give me a good energy boost. Then I continued to ask questions to make sure I didn't leave a stone unturned. In the end, in the conclusion, I discovered that I choose sugary drinks over water because they provide more energy, and they also have sugar and provide more flavor. I don't like the flavor of water, and I'm usually exhausted and tired, and I need energy right in it then and at that moment. And usually soda filled with caffeine, Mountain Dew is my favorite, gives me that boost of energy. So after some research and talking to some colleagues, I've come up with 2 ways to try and improve my water intake. The first way is a fruit or vegetable infused water. This allows a little more flavor, but you're still getting water, and it's a natural thing you're adding to your water. The second change is to buy and use these on-the-go packets of Crystal Light and off-brand flavor packets. Most of them have no sugar, and they have a sweetener in it instead of sugar, as well as some of them have an electrolytes or caffeine infused in the packet. So I'm getting caffeine, not as much as in a soda, but I'm still getting a little boost to help me throughout my day. So I collected about 9 days of data since November 2nd, trying these two different methods of drinking water, either fruit and vegetable infused water or crystal light water. I decided to use a one-factor ANOVA testing to go over the means of the new data I've collected, and I came up with these results. I found out that through the ANOVA testing results that my p-value was really low, and therefore I would reject the null hypothesis of that all of my beverages means were the same, which they weren't. And it also showed that there was a significant difference between all the beverage means. This just shows that they're not equal, and I am drinking a certain beverage over another beverage. It doesn't say which beverage I will be drinking over that beverage, but it just shows that they're not the same, which is what I would want. I definitely want to be drinking more of a beverage than another. Just in this testing, it doesn't tell me which beverage that is. I also chose to do hypothesis testing of two means of different population variances. I chose this test to compare the two means, but also of unknown population variances, because through the measurement phase, I had about 3 weeks of data, and currently with my proven phase, I only had about a week's worth of data. To use this test, I had to calculate a t-value and also a degree of freedom. And I have shown here the calculations that I used using means and standard deviation in sampling size. I found out that my t-value was a negative 3.15. My degree of freedom rounded down is 5. Using a t-value table, I found out that my TA divided by 2 is 2.57, and that my t-value is more than the value from the table. Therefore, I will reject the null hypothesis. I would reject null because they are not the same and the difference is not 0. And this is just reiterating what the ANOVA testing showed, that there is a difference between my water consumption mean from the first set of data and my water consumption mean from my improvement set of data. Now, looking back on my project, I'm going to go over a few details. The problem was I'm not drinking enough water, and I want to drink more water and less soda. I am not counting any water that I am consuming through food, as well as any beverages I consume over holidays or traveling time. And I planned this project for myself, but I found out it is also infecting my roommate and brother, which is good for both of us to not drink a lot of soda and drink more water. And I wanted by December 1st to consistently drinking a maximum of 12 ounces of soda a day and a minimum of 40 ounces of water a day. And looking over my plan, I started off pretty good, and as we're getting toward the end, I need to keep that motivation and keep with it. I'm going to continue in my improvement phase, continue collecting data, and in another 2 weeks' time, I will have a good amount of data, and I will revisit my statistical tools and see if it is with the same conclusions that I have right now. But thank you for watching, and I hope you guys are doing well in your projects too.